everybody, so today I am doing a video that was inspired by all the wonderful vegans in my life. I have been talking about all these different tips for new vegans on how to be a vegan in a world of non-vegans. Contrary to popular belief, only about 2% or less of the population in the United States are vegan, which is much larger than it used to be. And it's slowly growing because of social media and the access to information, the access to peer-reviewed scientific studies, and to the footage in slaughterhouses, to how animal agriculture affects the planet, affects the workers. I've been sharing these tips on my Instagram stories and on my Snapchat way back when Snapchat wasn't dead for a really long time, and I thought I got such good feedback from all of you guys that I was like, why don't I make this a more permanent kind of thing and make a video about 3 tools for new vegans. So all these things are very easily accessible and free, and they're really great on making you more knowledgeable, confident, and more well-spoken when it comes to veganism. But what I believe the most important part about all these tools is to come from a place of love and a place of planting seeds rather than getting into an argument. We can disagree without disrespecting people, and I know it's really frustrating that a few bad eggs, that is not a good pun. I know a few bad apples in the vegan community have made it very difficult to be vegan and be perceived as like a nice, normal person who likes to do things that everyone else does. So come at these questions when you're asked with compassion and love and understanding. What I had to understand in order to be a good advocate for veganism is that I don't love people because they're vegan. I love people because they're kind, they're good people, and they are friends to me in times that I need them. And you have to remember that veganism isn't a whole part of a person. I am not just a vegan. I am a daughter, a sister, and a friend. It's so much more than just a vegan person. And so are the people you are talking to. There's so much more than just meat eaters or people perpetuating violence against animals and animal cruelty and all these other things. People are more than just one thing. First tool I'm gonna talk about is called yourveganfallacy.com. Yourveganfallacy.com talks about a certain thing called illogical fallacy, which is a term in philosophy and argumentative writing, I believe, that describes a logical argument that is rooted in fallacy, that is not rooted in a concrete cause and effect, and does not have substantial evidence to back it up. They're more rooted in anecdotal evidence than actual scientific fact. And as a vegan, you're always asked these crazy questions that you're like, that would never happen. I thought you were smart. Why are you asking me this? Sometimes you don't want to talk about being vegan, and everyone wants to talk about it with you. Because everyone, like myself, I was not vegan my whole life, and I used to ask the dumbest questions ever, and I'm so embarrassed that I once thought that breast milk wasn't vegan, and I thought vegans just gave their kids soy milk and sunshine. I'm embarrassed for myself. All right, so for my first tool, I'm gonna be talking about yourveganfallacy.com. So yourveganfallacy.com explores the many logical fallacies that we are confronted with as vegans. Like, we have canines. Aren't we supposed to eat meat? When in fact, the mammals with the largest canines are hippos and they are vegetarian. If you're not as comfortable regurgitating information, which I mean, no one is when they first start out being vegan, it is so intimidating to become more well-spoken about something you are just newly being accustomed to. You can always approach someone and say, hey, that is so interesting, because I used to think that too. Or that is so interesting that because so many people have approached me and told me that. And I have this wonderful website called yourveganfallacy.com that I think you'd find really fascinating, that just dispels the many myths surrounding veganism. Because you asked me that question, I think it would be something you would really enjoy. Or you can go on the website and you can explore such topics as plants feel pain. Why are you okay with eating them? And the ever popular, one person going vegan isn't going to make a difference. So why should I? I really love this website. It's really fun to just go on every so often and like refresh yourself, because you never know when you're going to be asked these questions. I never know when I'm gonna be asked these questions. I remember the first time I was asked these questions, I was like sweating. I had like a cold sweat. I was like, oh my God, I need to say this in the right way because they're only gonna talk to me one time. I have to change their life, and it didn't, it was a disaster. But be kind to yourself. No one's perfect. No one's good at talking about something without a little practice. So it is okay if you screw up the first time. Just remember, you just being in a room and being a happy, healthy vegan is planting seeds enough that you don't have to argue your case. If someone wants to fight with you about veganism, you're planting seeds in cement. There's a very small possibility that that seed will grow into mutual understanding and knowledge. Number 2, on tools for new vegan. This is the podcast that really gave me confidence and made me believe that I could be vegan for the rest of my life, anywhere, traveling, with my children in the future, not pregnant, oh my God. Colleen Patrick-Goudreau is a vegan educator and she has a podcast called Food for Thought. And thank God, 3 years ago, I stumbled across her podcast and listened to it literally every single night. If you go in and you search in Food for Thought on the iTunes podcast store, or even Google it, I think you can find it online, and scroll all the way down to the bottom of her feed, you can get just these juicy, juicy nuggets of ways to change your thought process on how to be a vegan advocate and how to live in a world where being vegan is very rare, and how to travel in certain places and be vegan, or how to date a non-vegan person. And it really taught me about how we are all just human beings and we are all just looking to be loved and accepted and to have mutual understanding, and that no one is forcing their opinion on you. Especially, I know when you're vegan, some people may try to force their way of living on you. It is simply out of a desire for mutual understanding and a desire to be heard. She writes in such a way that is a compassionate but argumentative way that is, I think, the best way to go about discussing veganism or discussing anything that you're passionate about that isn't necessarily popular. And some of my favorite episodes from her, the one about habits of effective advocacy is one of my favorites, the one about dating non-vegans, how to be the vegan in the room, and the protein myth and veganism. This is where I got my favorite response on how to get my protein. I tell people I get my protein where your protein gets your protein. I just skip the middleman. I go to the plants themselves. And it seems to blow people's minds. And I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, people will, but I would scroll, as I said earlier, I would scroll all the way to the bottom and work your way up, because at the bottom, they're the most common problems and issues that new vegans experience. And my third tool for new vegans, I mean, I think I talk about it like on every video, is nutritionfacts.org, specifically the Nutrition Facts YouTube channel. If you go and you look at the Nutrition Facts YouTube channel, you'll see there's a little search bar, and you can go in there and you can search whatever like medical malady or whatever. You can research Parkinson's, you can research type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, you can research the effects of casein. So you just type in a keyword. Mine specifically, before I went vegan, when I was 14 years old, I was diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, and right now is the most balanced my hormones have ever been. You just go in, you type in like hormones or PCOS or fertility, all the problems associated with your issue, and I found out so much information. He has peer-reviewed articles. They're not privately funded by corporations like the Egg Board or the Meat and Dairy Administration. So it's really good knowledge, even if you're not vegan and you just want to know a little bit more about your food. This doesn't really have like this big agenda to make you watch some like inhumane videos. It's simply knowledge. Really great to know. Also, he has a book called How Not to Die, which is just endorsed by the Dalai Lama for all the work he's doing to make the world a healthier, better place by putting his time and his energy, Dr. Greger that is, into looking for unbiased research in the whole field of health and nutrition. All right, those are my 3 tools. These are the 3 things that when I first went vegan, I consumed voraciously and helped me be more confident in what I was saying, and I feel like I'm so much more well-spoken, but that didn't come without practice, of course. I think when you acquire knowledge in any kind of way, shape, or form about anything, really is such a confidence booster. We are so much more than what we look like and what we post on Instagram. Having this thirst for knowledge, to read, to research, is such an important part in growing as a human being and in gaining more self-confidence. I think you should help yourself, and check out these resources. Let me know if you guys check out these websites and what you guys think. I love them, so I hope you guys love them too. And let me know if you've listened to any of Colleen Patrick-Goudreau's podcasts. She followed me on Instagram like when I first went vegan, and I was like, oh. I was such a big crazy fan because I didn't watch really YouTube when I first went vegan, but I listened to her podcast, that when I went to Oakland, I like brought her 30-day vegan challenge book with me everywhere I went in my bag in hopes that I would run into her and I could get her to sign it. And that's really embarrassing, but it's true. But I think that's really just like a testament to how much what she did and what she does means to me, and I think she's doing great things, and I think she needs more acknowledgement. I hope you guys liked the video, and please be sure to like, comment. I don't know, I don't really care. Okay, bye! Please be sure to check out some of my other videos and subscribe, and let me know if there is anything else I can help you with. I'll see you guys next time in a new video. Bye!